Is PlayStation Plus worth the price in 2025? It's been 3 years since the relaunch of PlayStation Plus, and while things have improved, you still need it for online multiplayer. Let's be honest, figuring out essential versus extra versus premium can be a real headache, especially now with talk of $80 games becoming a real thing. Every dollar in your budget is more important than ever, and the truth is, premium might not be worth it for most people. So today we're breaking down exactly what each tier offers. If you're on the fence about which tier to spend your money on, this video will clear things up. So stick with me. It will take a little while to explain, but let's jump into it. So first we're going to cover the entry tier, or the cheapest tier if you like. The essential tier currently costs $9.99 per month or $79.99 yearly. In this tier you will get access to online multiplayer, but to be clear, you don't need PlayStation Plus for most free-to-play games. Games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, etc. do not need PlayStation Plus. But each month you do get 2 PS4 games and 1 PS5 game that can be redeemed. But you need to know that these games must be redeemed within the offer period. This is very important because once the offer period ends, you cannot get these games anymore. Other benefits include cloud storage for your game save files. You get up to 100 gigabytes for PS4 and another 100 gigabytes for PS5. All Plus tiers also get special in-game content from time to time. And finally, there is SharePlay, which allows you to enjoy the same game regardless of who owns it. You can hand over the controller, letting someone else play the game you're currently playing, even if they don't own the game. Okay, moving on to the next tier is Extra, and this includes everything from the Essential tier, but you also get access to the games catalog and Ubisoft Plus Classics catalog. This tier is priced at $14.99 a month or $134.99 a year. First, let's talk about the game catalog, which includes about 400 PS5 and PS4 games. This is where you'll get access to some of the best PlayStation games like Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and more. But you should know it's not normal for these big Sony AAA games to be in the game catalog day one. Spider-Man 2 is still not included, and neither is The Last of Us Part 2 in the catalog. There's also some well-known third-party games like Doom 2016 and Fallout 4. These are older titles, but still great AAA games. Usually every month, somewhere between 8 and 15 new games will be added, and there isn't really a pattern to how long we can expect certain games to stay for. In the past, we've had games like Red Dead Redemption get added, but then get removed 6 months later, and as for new game releases, sometimes they stay for a while and sometimes they don't. We've had new releases like Sea of Stars and Stray, the cat game, get added to PlayStation Plus on their release date, and both of those games left the catalog 1 year later after being added. So we have a mixed bag on what we will get added and how new of a release it will be. Don't expect a similar subscription like Xbox Game Pass with new game releases added day one all the time. But you should know this is different from the essential monthly games. Those games, if redeemed, never leave your library as long as you stay a subscriber. Now, another game catalog you get is the Ubisoft Classics catalog. This collection of games doesn't have as many changes as the main games catalog, and you can expect over time older titles getting added and more games not usually leaving this list. So if you like Far Cry, Watch Dogs, or Assassin's Creed, you can play pretty much all of these games through the Ubisoft Classics catalog, except for the very newest games in the series, so no Assassin's Creed Shadows in the list. This is definitely the sweet spot of PlayStation Plus tiers, because you get access to a big selection of games that are both first-party and third-party published. Some you might like and some you might not, but far more than you could ever play. Alright, next let's talk about the final tier, Premium. This is the most expensive tier and gives you access to everything from the Essential and Extra tier. This tier is priced at $17.99 a month or $159.99 yearly. Upgrading to this tier gives you game trials, the Classics catalog, cloud streaming, and Sony Pictures Core. Let's break them all down, starting with the game trials. Game trials let you try out the latest games for a set period of time, and unlike with a demo, the entire game is playable. One thing I haven't seen mentioned by many people is how wildly different the game trials time can be for. For example, right now Hogwarts Legacy has a game trial of 45 minutes, which I found was just barely enough time to get through the opening act of the game. But then there are games like Infinite Wealth that have a 10-hour trial. Yes, you heard me right, 10 hours of gameplay as a trial is a huge amount of time to figure out if you want to buy the game or not. There doesn't seem to be any reasoning behind this, but just know not every game trial is for an equal amount of time. It's also important to know not every new game will get a game trial. Next, there's the Classics catalog, and this has come a long way since it was first introduced. There are currently about 500 games in the catalog, with a big group of the PS PS3 titles being streaming only, and you can usually download any PS2, PS1, and PSP games. Next, let's talk about cloud streaming, which lets you stream those classic games to your console. You can also stream PS5 and PS4 games as well, and while the quality has greatly increased, it still is very reliant on how good your internet connection is. I tested out Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it wasn't very playable because of my internet not being fast enough. Now, you can adjust the resolution if your internet can't keep up so that you get a smoother experience, but I still prefer to download the game to the console. This way I can get the full resolution without worrying about latency issues or internet connection issues. Really quickly, most of my audience is from the United States, but I do want to mention that in some regions, instead of a premium tier, there is a tier called Deluxe. Deluxe is basically premium, but without cloud streaming, and is a little cheaper than premium. Just wanted to make that clear for people who are looking for info about the Deluxe tier. Alright, moving back to what premium offers, there is Sony Pictures Core. This gives you access to select Sony-owned movies and TV shows to watch. The catalog has about 100 movies currently available, and it has limited Crunchyroll shows as well. And when I say limited, I really do mean that. There is currently only about 5 shows available from Crunchyroll. 2 of these are My Hero Academia and Haikyuu, but only their first seasons. But if you're looking for a movie to watch, it might be worth checking out since it's included. Okay, before we decide on the best tier, let's talk about some things that's worrying a lot of gamers right now. Game prices. We see news about $80 price tags for new releases becoming a real thing, following the news set by companies like Nintendo that they plan to charge $80 for new games on the Switch too, and rightfully so. This has a lot of people thinking about how expensive future games are going to be. We already had rumors going around about GTA 6 costing upwards of $100 on release. And even though they're just rumors, it is a clear sign that things are getting more expensive. Considering what subscription tier to go with might just be the best way to make sure you have plenty of games to choose to play in coming months. So what is the best value tier for PlayStation Plus? It is definitely the extra tier. It gives you access to that sweet spot of PlayStation Plus benefits. You get the monthly games at the beginning of each month from the essential tier, and then the game catalog refresh in the middle of the month. On top of that, you have online multiplayer and cloud storage. This is really the best of the bunch here. Really, unless you are getting a lot of value out of the classics catalog, premium still just isn't there yet. Not to mention the headache that you might not have good enough internet to even use this feature. Yes, the Sony Pictures catalog is a nice little bonus, but cloud streaming games still is a drawback for many. Game trials too are a great benefit, but it's not enough on its own to justify the upgrade. However, you might notice premium is only about $3 more per month than extra. Does that small difference make it worth it? For most people, probably not, as the biggest and newer titles are available at extra. But if you're into classic PS1, PS2, or PSP games, or really value having game trials, and if you have great internet, streaming might be worth the small cost increase. But for the best balance of games and features for the price, extra is the best value. If you're only focused on multiplayer and the occasional free single-player game, then Essential is a great choice. And since the monthly games in Essential are the only ones that have to be redeemed within a certain time, you can always upgrade to the extra tier if something comes to the games catalog that you really want to play. PlayStation Plus is a great service and has a lot of benefits you might not have known about. But with a great game service, you're probably going to need some recommendations to play. Check out 15 best PlayStation Plus games you need to play. Thanks for watching. Until next time.